Uh, hi everybody. This is Imran Kapadia, and I'm representing Atlas Skilltech University. We're India's newest and the youngest university. I could take proud in saying that. Uh, Established in 2021, so we're more like a pandemic baby, but we've been in the business for about 10 years as private institutions. So we, as private institutions, before we became a university, uh, you know, since 2013, when we started taking admissions for our design school, primarily for the design school, we were very small. We were a very pen and a paper oriented institution. We believed in documenting on paper. So every single interaction that we had with a student or a parent, we would actually write it down on pieces of paper and then put it on a whiteboard, and we would track actually from there. From there on, when we actually going from year to year, we actually move from pen and paper. We still retain pen and paper, never goes out of fashion, but we move from pen and paper documentation to Excel files, uh, from Excel files to basic tools of data movement. And then finally we felt that now that we've grown into huge application base and student base, and we've got huge touch points, forms of lead collection also, we felt the need of a CRM, and then we finally froze on ExtraaEdge. So the lucky thing that has happened over the last 10 years is that every challenge that we actually faced has led to progressive movement, right? So from pen and paper, when we were actually very happy because we could actually see and we could actually physically feel personalized connection to every single application. I wouldn't want to call them lead, but I would say I would even call them actually student, not even application, with every student, because when we wrote this down, it was like memorizing each and everything that we actually wrote down. So we would write the name of the student, we would write his telephone number, we would write his email ID, we would go to the details of writing his address and area where they stay. So if it was Bombay, we would write down Malabar Hill, Bandra West, Khar West, or whatever. We would write down their parents' name, we would write down their mother, father, email addresses, or whatever. So it was very good. But what was happening was that it was very limited. Because you could do this only certain times during the season, or you would actually do it once, and then you could actually keep moving with arrows and post-its. What has really happened is that now with this whole transition, I'm not going to talk step by step, but now with this whole transition and from nascent stage to now, we see that it's not only the one who writes that name remembers, but now because that data is accessible, available, and also interactable with the whole team, it's not only me who remembers the name, father name, student name, or the areas. It's in fact the entire team. So it's a culture which is actually flown into the system. So now with data accessibility with CRM, each and every counselor who I have actually knows who they're talking to, where they stay, who should they interact with next, and they personally then know who is it that they're talking and they're interacting with. So it becomes very important, because this business is all about personal touch. Then in 2018, coming back in 2018, when I was actually looking at players who could actually solve this big problem for me, where I could actually physically see movement of lead, cold lead, warm lead, hot lead, application, and then from there on, we were actually shortlisting a lot. We looked at domestic players, we looked at international players, we looked at the best in the industry. I think when I was actually putting my parameters, most of them were doing the same thing, right? CRM is meant to do a basic flow of work. Everybody was doing it. The difference was somebody looked good, somebody looked better on mobile, somebody looked better in technology in the back end. What really gave me the confidence to work with ExtraaEdge was see, the product will always remain the same. Product can be picked, product can be developed, and product can be overnight you can actually build features. But actually what made the cut here was the people and the acceptance of them coming forward and taking this up as a challenge for an institute which was not ready. So it was more of both of us agreeing to take this challenge because we as a client would be very demanding, and the team at the opposite end would have actually had to live up to the expectation. So I think it was a two-way onboarding, I would say, that I was looking for somebody who could give me solution, who could solve my problem, and in return I wanted somebody who would actually say, you know what, you decide what you want, and we will keep developing and we will keep supporting the way we go. And I've said this in multiple forums when I've been actually talking to Abhishek, or I've been talking to Sushil, or anybody at the company. I've said that it's not the product, it's just not the product, because the product can be replicated, the product can be built, somebody else can come and give me the same product, but it's the service, it's the people, it's the attitude. Actually, it's the attitude which actually comes and says that, you know what, you have a problem, you're facing a problem right now. We're here to resolve you, and let's do it on the go. It's not that, okay, fine, raise a ticket and we'll come back to you. It happens on the phone, it happens on a screen share. So I think it's very, very I think the people who work with me at ExtraaEdge, everybody, each one of them, they feel my pain. I think that's very important, because if they don't feel my pain, then I'm sitting waiting, right? And the business actually takes a hit. So we've grown multifolds from 37 students in the class in 2013 to today, close to about 2,000 students in the class. So, you know, I don't want to, I mean, somebody who's watching this can do the maths, that in 2013, when we were at 37 students in the class and we were only at 60 applications, and they were all mostly people who actually were from the vicinity, who knew us. It was very, we were in Bombay, right? So it was very area dominated in terms of admissions, to today where we are actually India's lead. So we are a university, we're India's youngest university. We have a school of design, which is India's top design school in the country, ExtraaEdge, which is by far one of the best in the country. We've got a management school which is competing with all international schools in the country. I mean, getting about 12,000 applications, getting about 2,000 students in, people can do the maths, you know, what is my ratio and percentage and all they can do. But to manage this volume, to manage not just this volume of applications coming in, but to get these applications, the amount of leads that come in from various sources. So everybody knows, you know, the conversion percentages are known to people. It's not more than, you know, cold leads are not more than 1%. At best, they could be 2%. From lead to eligibility is another 5-6%. From eligibility to application, it goes on to another 7-8%. So you know the volume of leads I'm talking about when I'm talking about 2,000 people in the class, and then if people work reverse, and I would like them to do this, because this would also give them some overview of how this is working and how they should be planning. But we're looking at close to about 500,000 leads in the system today. When you look at 500,000 leads, you look at number of communication and touch points that we do. We don't leave anything undone. We look at emailers, we look at WhatsApps, we look at SMSs, we look at calling. So, you know, there's constant interaction, and I think this kind of volume cannot be met with just human intervention. There has to be a robust backend. There has to be a robust machinery. There has to be a system that is built to cater to this kind of volume. So I think that one thing that is today is a problem solver for me is that I can talk to my 500,000 leads at the click of a button, you know, and I can choose their form of communication which they want. So that's the beauty of this. So I would actually recommend ExtraaEdge all day long, and I would actually recommend to everybody who I meet, not because it's a good CRM, or not because it's a well-built, well-developed interface that gives me only wherever they. I feel that I can actually decide parameters. I can actually decide the way I want it to interact. I can decide the way I want to see reports at the end of the day. and it really does give me the view, because where I sit right now, I don't necessarily need to know each and every instance of what is happening, but I need to know an overview of what is happening across, because that's where I come into the picture. But what I also get is I get to decide my views. So so from and this is not just for me. It's not just because I'm signing the bill that I get this service, but even for my lowest lead in the team, if they decide that they want it in a certain way, they want to see their data in a certain way, it's actually possible, and it's actually happening right now. So customization is to the core. Uptime is 100%, I would say. People would say 99.9%, but for me it's 100%, because I really haven't faced downtime till now. Glitches, yes, of course, if it's technology, there has to be glitches. Without glitches, technology will not survive. But that's what keeps everybody going. And I think customer service. I think I would rate customer service at the top of everything.